Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. We're going to talk Rams, 49ers, Chiefs, Bengals. So, Kevin still with us, unfortunately. So,
Unfortunately,
unfortunately, yeah.
I'm back.
Still,
I'm
haven't-
back.
still haven't found someone to replace him. So, but it's coming. He's doing all right.
It's
Doing all
coming.
right.
Hey, we can. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you, but I feel like we can get some more people on here.
Hey, man, I think that's the plan. Eventually, we'll have to, you know?
Yeah, eventually.
I want to. It'll be a good
We can
time
get
to get more.
tired of seeing my face, so
I know. Well, we keep your face. We just bring in some other people just so we
yeah,
want to
for
listen to
sure.
your voice all the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But the Rams 49ers game, who'd you have picking in this one? Who'd you choose?
We
If you
are.
remember.
I had the Rams going
Okay.
this game. Um,
Okay.
I thought, but I think I did say that the Rams are going to run away with it. But yeah, it looks like I was a little bit mistaken. I mean, definitely looked tight at the beginning, but big comeback in the fourth quarter definitely propelled them to a good game. So yeah, I mean, happy to see my prediction go through. But yeah, it was a good game for sure.
Absolutely. I was on kind of the same boat as you. I was kind of leaning towards the Rams, but I think I went with the 49ers in a
Yeah,
close one.
you did.
But I mean, it very well could have went that way. DeQuesky Tart dropping that interception with Matthew Stafford just chucked it up there. That would have definitely iced the game, in my opinion. Um,
hmm
but that's football for you. You gotta have a break every once in a while. The
mm
Rams had a couple guys make some unfortunate plays, dropping a touchdown pass. Jalen Ramsey dropping an interception or two. So
hmm
it could have went either way, but it's a good game. It was a good game
Hey,
nonetheless.
I mean, that's the thing about these playoff games, man. It's so hard to bank on one team because I mean, as we saw, like anything can happen. Honestly, looking at both these games, anything can happen. I
Absolutely.
mean, these games are really up for grabs. It's whether team, comes to show out. So, I mean, Niners had it at the beginning, but I think, unfortunate plays did lead to a Rams win. So,
hmm I agree. We have, with this going on, we have the four best teams in football technically here, obviously, and there's no bad teams left. And
mm,
it's all about those small plays in any sport, really, when you get down to the final four. But when we see these four teams come around, they're all playing each other: the 49ers, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Bengals. It comes down to those tiny moments and those big plays and who rises to the moment, rises to the occasion. And we saw the Rams do that, especially getting 13 points in the fourth quarter.
right.
Um, and then Jimmy Garoppolo on his last two drives, six incomplete passes for -3 yards and an interception. I think some of those stats are a little skewed. The interception, he's just trying to make a play. But still, big time moments, big time players have to step up. And we saw that from the Rams and the 49ers. Unfortunately, their quarterback kind of crumbled under the pressure
Mm-hmm.
with the addition of his offensive line getting just absolutely manhandled by the Rams in those last two drives. We see Jimmy Garoppolo here, 16 for 30, 232 yards, two touchdowns, interception. Everybody's kind of hating on him and dogging on him.
Mm,
I still think he's a decent quarterback. I think he's a top 15, top 18 QB in the
right.
league.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he
I mean,
deserves
no,
all the
no doubt
slander.
about it. Honestly, no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, like you said, technically best four teams in the NFL playing this past weekend. So, I mean, he still put up a pretty good game. I mean, I mean, it wasn't like one of his best, I'd say. Looking at the past season, but not a terrible game. Just a few let-ups from definitely that offensive line, but I mean, everyone's gonna put the blame on the quarterback at the end of the day. I mean, it's hard. It's hard not to, especially when you're dictating the offense and stuff. So unfortunate,
Absolutely.
but yeah.
Absolutely. And then we have Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, kind of quiet this game as well, which was interesting. The 49ers were going to win this game. I was kind of saying last week, George Kittle's going to have to have a big game.
Mhm.
And
He did say
they kind of put him in a box, 2 for 27, 13 yards. I mean, he got a touchdown. And that's going to happen when you have a big body in the red zone. But besides that, kind of had a very quiet day. Debo Samuel had a decent day, but roughly 100 yards. We'll say 98 yards from scrimmage. So it wasn't a terrible day for him, but it could have been a
Mhm.
little bit better day.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I definitely agree. Definitely agree.
Yeah, let's say the
So,
49ers had a decent game plan, but they just crumbled in the fourth quarter. That's kind of Shanahan's MO. Big
mhm,
games, the 49ers, he's crumbled in the past. And then as well with the
mhm,
Falcons when he's offensive coordinator there. I don't know if you remember, he was the coordinator for the Falcons when
mhm.
Patriots came back from that halftime deficit of 28-3. Big time moments. He's always been kind of
Yeah,
crumbling under the pressure there.
for
And
sure.
then you see Matthew Stafford. Um, in my opinion, I think the stats are kind of skewed. Shows that if
Mm,
you just look at paper, he had a great game, but there's a couple times where he could have lost him that game. Um,
yep.
but
Yeah,
I'm
for
very
sure.
happy.
For
I'm
sure.
very happy for him because Matthew Stafford is one of my more, I won't say favorite, but I like him. He's one of my more liked players in the league. I think he deserves to have a chance. He's suffered in Detroit for so long, but
Yeah.
he almost threw away the game literally to Jaquiski Tart on that final
Literally,
possession.
literally just about through the game. And I remember talking about, last week, talking about, his time in Detroit and now, didn't really give him the platform to really elevate to that next level. So, yeah, I'm happy as well. Matthew Stafford's definitely getting a big break here. And, I'm this Super Bowl, man. It's gonna be
Absolutely.
one to watch for sure.
I agree. It's going to be a game for Matthew Stafford where he's kind of fighting for his legacy, um, trying to like put that stamp of approval. Where most people can argue he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but some people could argue he's not. But if
Mhm.
he wins that Super Bowl or balls out and has a great game, and then maybe a last second field goal or something, but he plays a perfect game, that could be kind of that stamp of approval on his career almost,
Right,
getting him into the punching his ticket to the Hall of Fame. So a lot of
right.
things going to play for him here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I saw something like some like news article. I'm going like the other side, the Niners.
Mhm.
Do you think this is Garoppolo's last game as a Niner? I mean, do you think it's
Yeah,
done that much?
I mean, personally, I think the 49ers will move off of him.
Mm,
Um, I
I
don't
agree.
I don't believe it's because Jimmy Garoppolo's played so poor or something like that. They have Trey Lance sitting behind him. They kind of put the franchise into his hands with the trade to get that draft pick. So I think they will move off of Jimmy Garoppolo, and
Mm,
especially this offseason because of the limited amount of quality quarterbacks there are in free agency as well as the draft. So I
yeah.
think they may move off of Jimmy Garoppolo to potentially try and restock some of those and
Mm,
repile up some of those draft capital, some of the draft assets they have and that they've lost, um,
yeah.
leading to them potentially getting some extra pieces to put around Trey Lance. But I think they do move off of him, and where
Yeah.
he ends up is going to be very interesting because he could land on a team like the Steelers, the Colts potentially,
Right.
where they could turn that team. He could make that team a Super Bowl contender. Where if it's the Colts, they're going to be a favorite and the front runner to win the division. I think, in my personal opinion, even though the Titans are there, but the Colts, I think they can make that run. And then if
Hmm.
they land on the Steelers, that Steelers defense is unreal. He has a young running back in Najee Harris back there. He can just turn around and hand it off. That's Jimmy Garoppolo's kind of game. He
Hmm.
kind of manages the game. He's not going to lose you the game, but he's not going to always win you a game. And I think with the
Right.
Steelers, that'd be a great fit personally. Seeing him go there with that elite defense and some weapons around him on offense, I think they could contend for a
Mm,
title next year if he goes there.
yeah, for sure. I totally agree. Any team that he goes to, I mean, you look at this past season, um, how he basically, I mean, he took the 49ers almost to the Super Bowl and
Yeah,
something not to be overlooked, honestly. So, I mean, wherever he's going to go, be a huge asset to that team and, really drive
absolutely.
their offense. So, yeah, no, I'm excited to see where he's going to go, but, it's unfortunate, to say,
I agree.
it might have been his last game as a Niner, but, that's football for you.
It is. I agree. I agree. It's very sad to see. You can tell John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers, and him had a pretty tight moment after the game where John
Hmm.
Lynch was shaking everybody's hands as they were entering the locker room. But one person he didn't give a handshake to was Garoppolo. He gave him a huge hug, and they had cameras on him for probably 10, 15 seconds, them having a pretty emotional moment together. So I think
Hmm.
that was kind of
Yeah.
their stepping away. I think Jimmy Garoppolo and John Lynch have had conversations this year, saying, hey, next year we're going to move on to Trey Lance, and all respect to you, we appreciate you. So I think that's what that moment kind of was.
Right.
And with some other openings around the league, one in Tampa Bay that we'll talk about more later on another day, I think maybe we could see Garoppolo slide into Tampa Bay if Tom Brady
for
does
sure.
with that whole Tom Brady. So we'll talk about that more down the line with Tom Brady, but I think that could be another hole he slides into, Jimmy Garoppolo, replacing the guy he backed up in New England for so long. I wouldn't be shocked. Because that's a walk-in, you're a Super Bowl favorite kind of team. And they just need a quarterback at that point, that roster.
For sure. Yeah, what a story that would be, honestly. Straight out of a movie, honestly.
Yeah, it would be. It's interesting. That's a team that's ready for a title.
Right,
they're young. They got all their weapons back, and the only guy they might have to re-sign is Godwin. But I think they could do that if they know they're going to compete for a title right away. So I think Garoppolo gives them that ability. Garoppolo gives every team he'd go to kind of that chance. Hey, we're going to be making a run to a conference championship or the Super Bowl nonetheless. Even if this is one of the weaker teams he goes to, they're going to be a conference championship contender. And if it's a more talented team, there could be a Super Bowl favorite or a top 5 favorite to make it to the Super Bowl with that squad.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So, definitely this offseason, we'll definitely see that for sure.
It's going to be a big offseason. Lots of moves.
Lots of moves for sure.
And I think we're going to jump into the game that everybody wanted to see. Everybody was watching. The Chiefs-Bengals game here, 27-24. What do you feel, Kevin? How are you feeling?
What a game. And I'll say it right now, just get out of the way. I'll definitely eat up my words. I had the Chiefs, I don't know. Had the Chiefs in, a runaway game, but I mean, at the beginning, not gonna lie, did seem like it was gonna go that way. I mean, Mahomes was playing a game, just until that that half, and definitely looked like he was gonna run away with it. But second half came, and man, did Joe Burrow step up!
Absolutely,
hell of a game that second half on the to propel them to go to OT, and then I mean. We talk more about the OT thing later, but that it took me by surprise, and I'll say it, man. I'll eat up my words.
Yeah, it was one of those games. If you just look at halftime, if you just watch till halftime and turn it off, I look like a total idiot. Kevin looks like a genius. Where the Chiefs at halftime were up 21-10, throttling them really, and it should have been a lot worse because Andy Reid made a terrible call there right before half, trying to go for a touchdown twice. And I don't know if that was more of Andy Reid. I think Pat Mahomes wanted that, but Andy Reid's the head coach. He has the final say. And I think he made a terrible decision because if you get a field goal there, it's a completely different game. And Zach Taylor himself even said that play where Eli Apple tackled Tyreek Hill short, kind of the momentum changer. Like that put all the momentum into the Bengals' hands right into halftime, where they're coming out hot and ready to go. And 2 times the Bengals and Chiefs have played, the Bengals have shut them down in the second half. They get killed in the first half. Yeah. That second half, that defense showed up and made some plays. Third quarter, 0 points. Fourth quarter, held them to a field goal on the last possession. And realistically, Patrick Mahomes almost threw away the game. Like with his ability back there, everyone loves how well he can create and run and escape and evade pressure. But he was just doing too much sometimes, and he fumbled. He fumbled it. And if the Bengals fall in that, no overtime, no nothing, game over. So, and not only was it going to be a chip shot field goal with him running around, it made it a more difficult field goal for Harrison Butker. NFL kicker should hit that. But in a moment like that, you have to know what's going on in the game, not to make it harder. At that point, if there's nothing there, just fall down, take the field goal, and just move on.
Man, yeah. I mean, the amount of times that, he's sitting in that pocket for way too long, I think it's safe to say he threw away the game.
Absolutely.
absolutely
Uh,
threw away the game. It's all about game management, and it's just didn't really recognize that, or at least it seemed like it.
yeah, it's unreal. So the stat for the game was Patrick Mahomes' QBR in the first half was 98. And then in the second half, his QBR was 1.4. A perfect QBR is 100. So he was 2 points away from having a perfect quarterback rating in the first half. And you could argue, and I believe if you take away those two incompletions right before half, he had like a 99.7, I think. And in the second half, he had a 1.4 QBR. The lowest QBR you can have is 0.1. So to talk
Yeah,
about two tale of two halves, two polar opposite halves.
yeah, no, and it
Unreal.
showed. It showed that it's yeah. That's a great stat. I mean, they can really show that even on paper wasn't threw away the game.
Mhm.
Threw away that game, man. I don't know how
Absolutely.
else to say. I was absolutely furious when that was going on because I was
Mhm.
like, Tyler's definitely just gonna definitely just gonna throw this in my
Yeah.
face once we talk about it. So
Mhm.
but it is what it is, man. It is what it
Yeah.
is. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm
And
glad to see the Bengals pull away with that. So.
me too. I'm very happy to see it.
Hmm.
And they made plays when they needed to. They had Pat Mahomes had three touchdowns, but that was two interceptions. That's huge.
Right.
Last week I was saying
Huge.
one of the keys to the game is the Bengals have to get at least one takeaway at some point because how explosive that Chiefs offense is. And they got two and
Huge.
they almost got a third, which is unreal. And
Unreal. What? Yeah.
it,
What a game by the defense. Honestly, that's
absolutely,
stepped up. Oh my gosh.
yeah. I said this is one of the first times in my life I can say I was confident in a Bengals team. If you look back, I was live tweeting this game on our Twitter account, and once OT rolled around that final like fourth quarter, when
Mhm.
Harrison Butker was about to kick, I remember putting out a tweet and I said, I don't remember the exact words, but something along the lines of, even if we lose this coin toss, I trust this defense to get the stop and get the ball back in Joe Burrow's hands because that's just how well they were playing and also how bad the Chiefs' offense was running at that
Right.
point. And just like that's where the first time I felt so confident in the Bengals team, where any other year I was like, well, here we go, Bengals lost, and especially with the overtime rule, how it goes. It's the
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs. Like everybody's like, oh my gosh, they're gonna make a run, and I'm not gonna say I felt like so confident, like not worried at all. I was a little uneasy, but I was like, I feel kind of confident in the Bengals for once, and
Huh.
it's a different kind of Bengals team than I'm used to.
Yeah. No, that's. I think it's a totally fair statement to say. I mean, I would say especially with like all the controversy about like the overtime thing and
Mhm,
how the Chiefs did win that toss. I mean,
mhm.
you honestly could have looked at it as the Chiefs already won the game,
Absolutely.
but I mean, with the momentum they were already running, in, the regular time, and then going into OT with the ball, I wouldn't
Mhm,
be surprised if and that's literally what happened. I mean, Bengals stepped up, Bengals defense stepped up, forced the
mhm.
turnover. I mean, yeah, all they need a field goal was to win. So
Yeah, it's it's one of those things in the sport where everyone's talking about it, how we need to fix within the Bengals, not just the Bengals, like a team, comes out and like goes
yeah,
against what everyone's been saying. I still think it needs to be
right,
fixed because that place erupted when the Chiefs won the coin toss. It was like, oh, let's go. We just gotta get one, we just like figure it out for one drive. But that's all it
right.
takes. Or it
That's
takes one big play to get you towards the end zone.
that's
Where
all they needed. That's all they needed. But yeah, I
Mhm,
mean, fair enough. I don't know. Yeah, fair
I
enough.
agree. I agree. And then the one guy, Joe Burrow, it's the games that he's had where he stepped up in big moments and he's just one of those primetime performers. There's like it's just you can't describe it. You look at one of those guys, he has like that it factor. He has that extra something about him that the elite quarterbacks have and the elite athletes all in all of sports. There's just like a certain characteristic or a certain character trait that some people have. And you just know that they have it, and Joe Burrow has it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I think the comparisons to Tom Brady, I think totally fair to say after this game. Yeah,
I
yeah. I
agree.
mean, you're right. You do see those glimpses of him being that it factor for that team. It really showed. It really showed.
Absolutely. And the one player that blows my mind here, Jamar Chase. I mean, he's got what 7 targets. I'm gonna count his rush as a target because he's not lined up at running back. They're giving him like a toss or a jet sweep.
Yeah.
But 57 yards. Those are two kind of polaristic games where he went off and had like 280 some odd yards the first time against the Chiefs. And this time only get 57 yards from scrimmage. The
Mhm.
Chiefs' game plan was just to lock him up. And I was worried when I started seeing that. I'm like, man, like that's our number one receiver. I don't know what's going to happen. Um, but I do remember saying someone's going to step up the Bengals last week for this game. I'm going to win. And T. Higgins did that, especially with CJ
Yeah.
Uzama going down, going out. He got injured, MCL sprain, I believe, what they came out saying it was. But T. Higgins stepping up, 6 receptions, 103 yards. There were times watching that game where he would just come across the middle and Joe Burrow would just literally just throw it so high where his arms were so long he could grab it.
Yep.
Like I remember Tyrann Mathieu was trying to guard him at one point. Tyrann Mathieu was like at his rib cage and the ball was like above T. Higgins' head. Like he had to go outstretched to grab it. It's just
Yeah.
unreal plays. Someone stepped up in a big moment to help them get the win.
Really. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Not much to say about that, but yeah, did they step up? Man, did they step
Absolutely.
up
Absolutely.
for sure.
And then the one player I'm gonna attack them almost, but I don't want it to come off that way. But it's gonna come off exactly like that. Is Eli Apple? Oh my God, Eli Apple about lost them the game. He had so many pass interference calls. He stepped up and made a play where he tackled Tyreek Hill in the first half, but then in overtime, this is the guy that dropped the first interception that we should have had. Jesse Bates stepped up and make a big play the next time, but Cincinnati Bengals fans would have hung this man. And he got cooked. The last time they played the
Oh
Chiefs,
yeah.
he is consistently getting cooked by every single team. If I'm Sean McVay, I'm trying to find a way to put Cooper Kupp on the same side of the field as Eli Apple every single time.
Hmm.
But Eli Apple goes out on Twitter and starts tweeting at people all the time, called out what Tyreek Hill, Nicole Hardman. It's unreal. He just goes after fan bases and everything. He's ridiculous. If we can start pulling him up here,
Oh,
it's
you're gonna pull it up? Let's go.
yes, I'm gonna try and pull it up. But
Nice.
he constantly is always trying to cause trouble, always in the news doing something. It's ridiculous. Here, we got this. He tweeted out, if I can pull it up. Here we go. But Eli Apple basically said, yeah, Eli Apple promises to buy Super Bowl tickets for Tyreek Hill and Nicole Hardman and just starts going after them. We got to get rid of this one set. There we go. Maybe. So many
Man.
ad pop-ups, man.
Oh
Jeez.
yeah.
But, as this one, as much as you'll get, I can see you had the game-winning play here. But then he's coming after Tyreek Hill, calling him a baby. I'm like, man, you get cooked by him all day long. You get cooked by any receiver. Like you made one play. The reason they got down to this situation was because he got burnt. He got burnt by Tyreek Hill to play like 2 plays before this to get them down here. He blew a coverage.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I'm glad you recognize this, Tyler.
He's hated.
Honestly, as a
And
sportsman, yeah.
he's hated by the New Orleans Saints, the New York Giants, and then you have all sorts of people that were Ohio State fans. He went to Ohio State, and Ohio State people, like, they don't even claim this man sometimes. Like, that's how bad it is.
No, I don't
And
blame him. I don't blame him.
and you can see this tweet right here, called him a baby with a piece of burnt toast. Like, that's literally what it is. Like, all year long, he consistently gets burnt.
I mean, yeah, you're
He,
not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, what kind of image does this paint for the Bengals? I don't know. I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
said it's crazy. There are people that are the guy named MMG, who has another like live sports talk show and big time Madden YouTuber. Is like, I'm rooting against the Bengals simply because of Eli Apple. Like, you don't want that. You don't want that as a team.
Yeah, no.
Like, this is getting more away from like serious football talk, but it's unreal. As in the fact that you have a player that is like that outspoken, that cocky, arrogant, trying to start stuff when he's getting burnt all the time and getting destroyed.
I
Like if it
mean,
was Joe Burrow,
yeah,
Chase,
yeah.
like people like that, go ahead, like you can back it up. But those are the kind of people they are. Like they're not going to do that. But
Yeah.
Eli
I
Apple
mean,
consistently getting burnt in coverage.
just another part of the game, I guess. Another part of the game you again don't really get to see. I mean, everyone gets to see, honestly, social media, how it portrays, you know?
Absolutely. It's one of those crazy things to think about how much social media changes our game, impacts our game.
Right.
But this was one of those games where I'll probably remember it as long as I can, probably to take it to the grave almost, where they get the game, the Bengals get to go play the Super Bowl. They beat the Chiefs twice. They beat Patrick Mahomes twice. And
Yeah.
I think as well, Joe Burrow used this game to kind of cement not like his legacy already, because it's only his second year. And you can look at it as his rookie year because he got hurt last year. But kind of that staple moment, something of the sorts where he just catapults his career.
Yeah.
He could be the first quarterback, I want to say in NFL history, to win a national championship, win a Heisman Trophy, win a national championship in their career. But he has a chance to do it all in 3 years, which is wild. Which is absolutely wild.
For sure. I think this game, really big game for the Bengals, really big game for Burrow. I mean, yeah, you look at it as, a game that, if the Bengals do keep up like the way that they played, keep up the momentum, it shows like good things to come. I mean,
I agree.
I mean, this could, really propel the Bengals to be like one of those big teams going forward. So, yeah, no, it's exciting to see for sure.
Absolutely. And one of the more exciting things as well is looking to the off season. Now looking at the Super Bowl right now, the Bengals have, I believe, the third most cap space for free agency this year out of everybody in the NFL. So they could plug some of their holes, sign another defensive back or two, get some offensive linemen as well. That could really change this team, and not change them for worse, change it for better. Kind of catapult them into this status of where we look at the teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Buccaneers of old, the Patriots of old, the Packers if Aaron Rodgers is still there. But teams they got a shot every year. And I think if they can do that, they could go on a run the next handful of seasons, 4 or 5 years, before some of these players have to get re-signed. And we'll see how they handle that.
Yeah.
But they could go on a run. They could be one of those next like dynasty teams. How we look at the Chiefs and we're like, the Chiefs are going to be Super Bowl contenders in the next 10 or 15 years because Patrick Mahomes is there. Same with the Bills and all these other teams. I think this could be one of those seasons where it turns the franchise around, turns the whole team around, like changes the history of never being able to win a playoff game basically the last 30 plus years and turn into a team that's consistently competing at the top level, the highest level.
No, I agree. And, I said it before and I'll still stand by it. I think the Bengals needed either, this season to really, give them that momentum that they needed. Or, I mean, I thought it was going to be next season. But, I mean, even, got to the Super Bowl this year. I think, they need one of these seasons where, they're going to get far and, it'll give them the momentum that they need for, like, the future seasons. Really, I mean, like you said, being one of those franchise teams that are going to make the playoffs every year with this
Absolutely.
team,
I agree. It's as much as I want to see the Bengals win the Super Bowl this year, if it doesn't happen, what an incredible season this was. Just for all of these teams, just to make it to the Final Four. I know the Chiefs fans, I know the 49ers fans, they're all bummed. They're bummed about their team not making the Super Bowl. Well, you guys have great teams and lots of promise to look forward to.
Yeah.
Out of all 4 teams that were here, I think the 49ers have like the least like expectation moving forward because Trey Lance is coming in. But Trey Lance, he's shown in moments this year he can play. And that 49ers squad is young. They have talent all around. And moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo, you have some more money to spend. They'll compete. And they'll always be competing. They're one of those teams that, because their coaching staff and the talent around their quarterback, they'll be there.
Mhm.
But it's going to be neat to see. We got the AFC is absolutely loaded and stacked, and the Rams as well. They can keep making a couple of runs here with Cooper Kupp. They bring back Odell. Robert Woods, arguably their second best receiver, has been injured since midway through the year. So there's some teams that are going to be reloading next year. That's going to make the season even better. It's going to be one of those years where you can look around the league and say, wow, there are X amount of teams. It's not just one of those, oh, it's going to be this team and this team again. But there's so many teams that could be there at the end of the year, which is awesome to see. It's going to lead to more games like this where games winning by a field goal and stuff like that. It's going to be unreal to see.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for sure.
It's going to be a great year of football coming up for us as well. This Super Bowl is going to be unreal with the Bengals and Rams matching up for that.
Yeah, what a game. What a game that would be. What a game.
Absolutely. And then before we wrap it up here, I do want to give a shout out to the unsung hero of the Cincinnati Bengals, Evan McPherson. My God, that man is cold. In kicking, I kicked in high school, but I'm not saying I know anything about kicking. But listening to other people who have kicked and things like that, it's one of those positions where it's a big time pressure position.
Oh yeah,
it's something so simple, but so hard to execute in those biggest moments. We see kickers all throughout the NFL struggle with it at times as well. And then looking at history, he has a chance to become the single season, single playoff run, player to score the most points. Score the most points in a single playoff run as a kicker in his rookie year. I think that's wild. Granted, he can credit the Bengals offense a little bit for getting him into positions to kick and not scoring touchdowns sometimes. But it's still on him to step out there and kick it, 50 plus yards, 25 yards, whatever it is. He's put it through every time. And he's going to be one of those kickers like Vinatieri, Gostkowski, that are going to be around this league for a long time, making a lot of money just to put balls through the net, through the field goal post.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt. Yeah.
And it's unreal. I think the Super Bowl, looking ahead, we'll do some predictions on a later show. But looking ahead, I think the Bengals have a huge advantage in special teams because Matt Gay for the Rams, he put one wide right last week, and then he missed a chip shot almost against the Buccaneers, 35-yarder. It's not a chip shot for most, but in the NFL, that's a chip shot. And I think if the game could come down to those field goal situations, the Bengals have the edge there, and that's a big-time edge because 3 points in the Super Bowl is a lot, especially 3 points in any game is a lot, but especially the Super Bowl, 3 points is felt with a much bigger magnitude as well.
I agree for sure.
And I hate to see a game come down to a play where a kicker misses a field goal for the Rams or something like that, but it's why you have to be ready. It's why the Bengals drafted him. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes looking ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, yeah, we'll do our predictions on later. But yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Absolutely. I say we appreciate you guys tagging along with us, listening to us talk about the championship weekend, a little bit of a Super Bowl preview sneak peek. But so we'll be coming to you later, talking more about the coming games, Pro Bowl, Tom Brady retiring, and all that here soon. So thank you guys.
Yep, for sure.